Pistons versus the Cavs. I lost on the Cavs this weekend, -3. They were one of my few losses. How do we bet this game?
So here's a little under the radar angle when we talk about Cleveland and Detroit for tonight. The Cavs have been a phenomenal point spread team all year. They've been making everybody money. But they're 0-5 against the spread. Their last 5 tries, laying -9.5 or higher. They were laying to the Sixers, Pacers, Raptors, Charlotte, Utah. Didn't cash any of those in this very same point spread range. And of course, Cleveland, there's certainly urgency tonight, right? 0-3 straight up, 0-3 against the spread, their last 3 ball games. The first 3-game losing streak of the season for the Cleveland Cavaliers. 2 of those against the Rockets, 1 against the 76ers. So before we talk about Detroit, I do want to let you know what's going on right now. I hyped my 5% big ticket in the Super Bowl, already locked and loaded. This was one I'm sitting around thinking about. This is one we're getting down on right now. And I do have a 3-pack available in the NBA for tonight. Just $29. Visit my page, wt.buzz/TC. 80% NFL playoff run, 80% NBA over the last week, showing signs of making some money here in January. And of course, we appreciate the likes, we appreciate the follows, we appreciate the comments. Tell me what you think in the comments below about this ball game. So Cleveland's been failing in this role, okay, repeatedly as a big favorite. They're in a bit of a funk right now. And the quotes coming out of Cleveland aren't super urgent. Kenny Atkinson, head coach, quote, "I think this patch adversity is good. It's great. This is the NBA. It's tough. Let's see how we respond to this. We'll bounce back." And they will. And of course, the Cavs did get Evan Mobley back in the lineup, his first action after missing about a week and a half or 2 weeks with a leg injury. So Mobley's back in the fold for them. But the defensive numbers for Cleveland have been problematic of late. And there's certainly urgency on the defensive end. Kenny Atkinson, quote, "We're scoring 130, but it seems consistently now we're giving up in the 130s. It's just too much. We can get back to defending like we have most of the year. We'll be fine. Right now we're leaking in too many places." Detroit, all right, we talked about the Cavs, 0-5 ATS laying these points, 0-3 straight up for their last 3. Pistons, +5 or higher, last 12 tries. They're 10-2 against the spread. They're 9-3 straight up in those games. That's a +5 or higher. Outright wins versus the Pacers, the Knicks, the Heat, the Suns, the Lakers, the Kings, the T-Wolves, the Knicks again, and the Rockets, all since Thanksgiving. Detroit lost their last game. Detroit off a loss, 6-1 straight up their last 7 tries. I understand Cleveland's the class here. I understand there's some urgency for Cleveland. I don't think there's enough. I want the Pistons. Pistons are moneymakers right now. Pistons have been a great dog. The Cavs have been a terrible favorite. And it's Detroit or pass for this better in Monday Night NBA. Again, appreciate the likes, comments, and follows very, very much. Mr. Prez, back to you, my friend.
Well, first thing that pops in my mind when I when I see this game is, one, the Celtics have been very inconsistent. They lost a game, they won. They haven't been good as a home favorite. I think they're 8-15 against the spread, and just kind of winning one, losing one lately. It is their 4th game in 6 nights. They did beat up on this Rockets team the last time they saw them. I think they won by 20-something. And this time around, I think it's a chance for the Rockets to get a little bit of get back, or at least keep this game competitive. I'll remind everybody, the head coach for the Rockets used to be the coach for the Celtics. He was let go for some stuff that was going on, not on the basketball court. And I think he, wants to go in there and show them up. Like he's going to have their team ready to play with really good effort in this game. Can they hang for a full 48 minutes? That is a question, but I do think they come out and throw the first punch. They've been really good in the first half lately, 3-1-1 ATS. As a road dog in the first half, I believe they're 6-3 ATS. So in a game like this, that I believe is important to the coach, a Rockets team that I really trust defensively, a Celtics team who could also be without 2 of their starters. You have Horford and Derek White questionable. I lean towards the Rockets first half in this game. If I was betting anything for the Celtics, I would wait to see if Horford is ruled out. And if he is, Tatum, he hasn't hit it the last couple, but he averages 9.5 rebounds when Horford is out. So you can get an 8.5. I think those are two ways to look at this game. The first thing that pops out to me in this game is the Grizzlies have won 6 in a row now, and they're underdogs. So I try to figure out why they're underdogs. It is also, I think it's this. I mean, it's their third game in 4 nights, fourth and 6 nights, and all of these wins, like it's not really versus impressive competition. They're just kind of feasting, beating up on the weak. Now you face a little bit more of a rested Knicks team lately, and they are also coming off of a few wins. So just based off the scheduling spot, I really want to look towards the Knicks. Also, and my bad. I'm trying to look at it
It's
here,
all
but I
good,
was thinking
Ski.
about the over.
Yep.
Grizzlies play up tempo, and I think in a game like this, the Knicks will be okay playing up tempo as well. So I think the Knicks are favored for a reason in this game. I'm trying to continue throughout the day to find reasons to back -3.5. It's the only place I would put my money. Iowa State and Arizona, I'll say like this. It's very just the same way I look at the Knicks game and say, why is New York favored? Why is Arizona favored here? And I think the reason is they just have a really incredible record at home. I look going back to 2021, they've lost just 4 games out of 60 at home. But I don't know that this Iowa State team is one that will lay down. Iowa State 2-0 so far as a road dog, 9-2 ATS versus greater than 65% teams. Their one non-conference loss was versus Auburn, and they're like the best team in college. So I really like this Iowa State team. I talk about them often. Keyshawn Gilbert is amazing. He gets in the paint, scores at will, gets to the free throw line. You have Curtis Jones, who kind of kept them in that game last game when they were struggling. He's like a 6-man. I compared him to Lou Will last time. So I like everything for this Iowa State team. I like the coach. I think in this game, their defense is good enough. Arizona likes to get inside, get good looks, and get to the free throw line. Iowa State, they're 26th in free throw attempts allowed, and they're really good defense in general. But inside the arc, they're ranked number 35. So I trust them there as well. And it just comes down to, I don't think the way Arizona plays, they can take advantage of Iowa State. Like 25% of their points on the season come from threes. They're not going to be able to just get to the rim and get to the free throw line and outscore Iowa State. So I've seen them in a couple of situations like this where they were small dogs. I would only go towards Iowa State. They're one of my favorite teams in the country, and I think they can get the win here tonight.
So it's a little slow, but here's what I got so far in college basketball for you guys. 871 Eastern Illinois plus 11. That's an afternoon game. I believe it's going off early. 877. That's the primetime game. No surprise. Under 134 NC State Duke. And that's actually getting over money from the recreational bettors. So it's going to be a sharp versus public type of matchup. And you're already seeing the sharps going under and not even waiting for that public money to push the line up higher. And then in the added board, 306-524, 306-524, Northwestern State at plus 4.5, forgive me. In the NBA, we have 547, New Orleans plus 1.5, pick 'em and -1.5. So I think someone's got to be sitting. Usually when you flip-flop a line, it'll only move about a point. This one's gone about now 3-point movement. So they probably know somebody's not playing, somebody's out, something along those lines.
Right.
And 553 under 220, 219.5, 219 Atlanta, Minnesota. Those are the only things that I've gotten down for these guys. I haven't released anything to subscribers at all. Coming off a beautiful, beautiful week. So there's absolutely no rush at all.
I'm going with a strategy that I was texting with you about over the weekend. I've been talking about it a lot. People know I've been betting these team total overs for quite some time now. This is going to be a team total under 2.5 here on Detroit. We're getting -115 on the number here. And take a look at versus taking the favorite to get the job done with the 5.5 and taking the money line or team total over. More so just betting against the underdog and their scoring abilities here. A lot of times I do this with defensive-minded teams. If I like the Minnesota Wild, I'll take their opponent to go under. If I like the New York Islanders, I'll take their opponent to go under. There's certain teams where I'll look towards certain team total overs, but if the LA Kings are going to do well right now, it's not going to be because they scored 3, 4, or 5 goals. It's going to be because they limited the opponent's chances to create goals. And they're number 2 in January in expected goals against defensive categories. But hey, LA's offense has not been very good. But I think it's 9 or 10 goals in the last 5 games for the Detroit Red Wings. So despite winning or losing, they're still not scoring that many goals themselves. And LA will not be happy with their performances offensively lately. So what do you do when you're struggling? You go back to your true identity. You go back to who you really are. And that's a defensive team. So under 2.5. And Prez, my favorite part about doing that is that you don't have to worry about that empty net goal factor, because as you know, with 5.5s, you get that 3-2 game, the empty net's there, 4-2, and you lose your full game under. But if you take a team total under, you don't really care what the team that won the game does. As long as that team that you think will lose it stays under 2.5, you cash a winner. I kind of like the under, and I kind of like Philadelphia. This is one of those games that's a bit weird, and I'm going to say one thing about New Jersey here in this game is that I'm a little bit worried about their goaltending situation.
Yes.
And the reason being is, Jake Allen, he took over for Montreal, so I've watched him a lot as a diehard fan when Carey Price got injured. And pretty much when Carey Price went on the LTIR, Jake Allen became the number 1 goalie. But as you and I both know, Prez, some goalies are really, really good number 1 goalies, but some goalies are just meant to be really, really good number 2 goalies. And that's kind of what I see with Jake Allen. So I'm a little bit worried the fatigue factor could be there. He might be starting a lot of games over the near future. And although, like you said, the Devils struggled for a little bit, and then now they just won back-to-back games against the Bees and against the Habs in OT, I kind of find myself looking at this game here. It's a Monday night, Devils against Flyers, 2 teams in opposite directions. Which team is more motivated for this game right now? I mean, Philadelphia, there's no denying it. It has not been good for them right now. You look at some of these scores for this team, they're struggling to score. It's like 1 goal here, 2 goals there, dominated against the Rangers. The Islanders shut them down. The only good news is they haven't played in a few days. And I think that, going against a team like the Islanders that are so strong defensively, getting to play against the Devils team that, according to some of the metrics that I look at, their defense has not been good. They've actually been getting bailed out by some goaltending over the past few weeks. Philadelphia plus 125 is intriguing to me conceptually and large scale. I couldn't agree more with you, Prez, about these 2 teams and the directions they're going in. But I do think Philadelphia could be live as one of the underdogs of the night here. And I do lean towards the under as well, because as of right now, Philadelphia, they're not really winning high-scoring games. So small play on Philadelphia plus 125. Well, most important, like you said, Prez, you're exactly right. The Oilers have owned, with a capital O, this Kraken team. They have dominated them. The big storyline, and which is why we're talking about this game right here, is Connor McDavid makes his return after a 3-game suspension, of course, with that kind of ugly cross-check that he gave Connor Garland of the Vancouver Canucks. He won't be happy after sitting out 3 games. We know what he's able to do. And let's be real here, the guy's going to have some rest. The guy is going to be rested a little bit for how much ice time he gets out there on the power play, out there in the final few minutes. Doesn't really hurt the fact that McDavid had a few games off, and the energy he's going to have is going to be pretty contagious, I think, around the locker room. But the contrarian in me, Prez, wants to look towards some unders on Connor McDavid, because you know that the books are aware he's back. People are aware of how much they've owned the Kraken. But I think a lot of what I see in games against teams that are non-playoff teams, that's where the Oilers' depth comes into play. I don't think they have a ton of depth, and against playoff teams, their star players are the ones that come to play. Non-playoff teams, this is where the other guys show up. So right now, I can get plus 100 even money on McDavid under 1.5 points. I think this is one of those games for Seattle. They have been so embarrassed lately. They got shut out against the Capitals. They get dominated in their last game. I think this is a game that goes under the total. We're seeing here over 3.5 for Edmonton, minus 155 for their team total. The books are expecting Edmonton to just walk away with this game. I think under is the play. I think Edmonton cruises to a low-scoring victory. I think Seattle has that kind of bend, don't break, protect your own end type of style. If you don't defend well against Edmonton, the game is over before you even go to the dressing room for the first period intermission. So under 6 is my lean in this game. I think we see defense from both the Kraken and the Oilers. And as far as this Oilers team is concerned, it might shock some people, but in January, one of the best expected goals against teams in the league. So despite being a team known for all their scoring, their defensive numbers have actually been pretty good. So I'll go under 6, Kraken and Oilers.